Hello, everyone. In the spirit of self-improvement, let's do another topic. This time, we're going to talk about productivity and work. Because I get asked this a lot by younger people who are just getting out there in the world, or people who don't really know what they want to do with their lives. As I've said, a lot of times you need to be productive. You need to work for something. Of course, you need to earn a living for your family and things like this. And in general, you should strive to help society as a whole. And of course, the biggest mistake that young children are taught nowadays is that they need to go to college in order to be successful. And this is just patently false. And I went through the same spiel when I was in high school. I fell for the meme, but I saved myself by looking into the alternatives first. So a little background. When I was in high school, I did okay. I probably could have done better, but I was a slacker. I ended up getting nearly a full ride to university, and I went there for a year, and it just really wasn't for me. I wasn't as motivated as I am today. I was young, didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. I was still confused on a lot of things, a lot of life issues, so I dropped out of university and instead went to community college, got my basic credits done, and then picked up a part-time job on the side, and it was a physical labor job. It was a lot of fun. It taught me a lot. It helped me rebuild my physical body, reshape my mind a little bit, teach me the values of hard work. That was my first real job as an adult. But while I was going to community college and I was working this side physical labor job, I was also shopping around for local jobs that were more in line with my natural abilities. And when I say natural abilities, this isn't just, I'm good with my hands, or I can do math calculations in my head, which I can. But more things that I was naturally interested in. And one of those was computers and technology and things like this. So I went around and I was looking for tech jobs, and I was looking for entry-level things where I could get my foot in the door of a technical position, tier 1 IT or something like this. And eventually I stumbled upon a unique job opportunity. It was what would now become my career field that I'm working in. And the thing about it was that I just took a shot. And now I have good interpersonal skills. That's why I like making videos like this and interacting with people. Even though I didn't necessarily have some of the qualifications, I applied anyway. And when I spoke to the recruiter in person, they really liked what I had to say. They liked my appearance, and they liked my motivation to improve myself. I was working part-time and going to college, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with myself, and I was like, yeah, I'm really motivated. I want this job. I want to get my foot in the door. Will you take a chance on me? And all of those factors combined, I ended up getting the job, and this was many years ago. But it ended up becoming the career that I have today, and it's wonderful. I love my job. But this isn't always what happens to people. So when you take someone who is 16 to 18 years old, generally they have no idea what they want to do with their lives. They have no idea what being productive really is. This is why I stress that it's very important for young teenagers to have jobs in the real world to gain experience before they go off into their career fields. It's a good learning experience for everybody. And it's so sad that we've replaced all of our young person's jobs with foreigners and people with low skill ceilings, let's say. Because a stable part of our society is teaching the youngest generation about life and showing them, hey, you need to be productive. This is a life lesson. Go out there and do that shitty job for 2 or 3 years before you blossom and you go to college and you fully invest in your future. You need to have some foundation for the rest of your life. And it does teach a lot of good skills. But instead, what happens is people in high school, these young teenagers, 16, 18-year-olds, they get fed the lie that, certain jobs are beneath you if you're intelligent, which is just untrue. You have to go to college to earn a living wage, which is just untrue. I mean, they told me that in high school. They were like, hey, if you want to make even enough money to live, you got to go to college, which is just, it's fucking bullshit, and I'll explain why. But these kids, they go off, and many of them have to get loans to go to college because college, the rising cost of college is because of a multitude of factors, but the cost is still rising. The university I went to, it was like $26,000 a year, and there's no way I can afford $26,000 a year on my own. I would have had to have gotten loans had I not had the skills to acquire these scholarships. So you have a young person, they don't really know what they want to do with their lives. They're really not sure what kind of degree they're going to get, but they know they have to go to college. So what do? They get in there and they get a shit degree. They're $60,000, $100,000 in debt. When they get out, they have no skills because they've never worked a real job before, or their degree is not useful at all. Some things like philosophy and psychology and things like this. Even people who go into law nowadays, their degrees are so undervalued compared to what they used to be. It used to be doctor, lawyer, scientist, or whatever. But now it's like, I wouldn't encourage anyone to go get a law degree. There's too many lawyers. There's too many legal experts. And I know in the United States, we live in a very litigious country, but there's way too many. So these young, early 20-somethings with no applicable skills, a shit degree, and several tens of $1,000s in debt have to go out and get a shitty job that they've been told for years and years and years is not only beneath them, but it doesn't pay very much because it's an entry-level position, and they're taking jobs away from the 16 to 18-year-olds that they once were. So the vicious cycle kind of repeats itself. There's not enough jobs for these young people, so they can't really get a job. So they're told at the same time that they have to go and get a college degree, which they do, which many of them are not prepared for. I can't tell you how many people I knew in college that were fresh-faced, they were real smart, and they chose to get into engineering, but they weren't prepared. And so they eventually ended up dropping out before they finished their degrees, and they still have all this debt to pay off. It's an unfortunate side effect of the system. So what should you do if you don't know where to look for work? Well, the best place to look is local trades. There's plenty of trade colleges offered all around the United States and in Europe. Most of them here in the States are tied to a community college of some kind, so go there. Go up to the front desk and ask them, hey, can I have a brochure on the different trade schools that you guys offer? And they'll offer you that. Now, if you already have some kind of skills, look in your field. Even look outside of where you live because you may end up having to move. But for those who are kind of just now starting out, let's look at some trade jobs that I found that commonly exist around the country that you might want to look for. So the first one is construction manager. We have rotary drill operator for the oil and gas industry, boiler makers, aircraft mechanics, avionics technicians, pile driver operators, plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters. These are really common, really good paying jobs. Electricians, crane operators, wind turbine technicians, millwrights, brick masons, commercial drivers, industrial machinery mechanics, CNC machine tool programmers, mobile heavy equipment mechanics, construction equipment operators, HVAC technicians, which is air conditioning and things like that, diesel mechanics, auto body repair, welder, or automotive mechanics. And most of these have some type of, sometimes union-sponsored trade positions where essentially you go in as an apprentice. And the school will teach you everything you need to know about the job. And then when you graduate in like 6 months to a year, you go and you work for one of these companies as an apprentice. And you work for 2 to 4 years in this position. You still make good money. It's not like an entry-level position at McDonald's. You're still making good money as an apprentice. And if you can pass the certifications for the position, then you can end up becoming a full-time, fully recognized X, Y, or Z. So mechanic, plumber, electrician, welder, things like this, you get full-time, you get the whatever the company sets as entry-level pay for a fully certified person of that position. And right off the bat, most of my friends who went into these positions started making $35,000, $40,000 a year, which is nothing to shake a stick at compared to some people who have to work 2 jobs and they're only making that much. And not only about the money, I mean, you're going to get pay increases if you're good at your job, if you're industrious, if you're productive, if you want to work hard and you study more and you improve on your technical skills within that field, you're going to make more money. But also, a lot of these trade jobs aren't going away anytime soon. Welders, electricians, HVAC technicians, a lot of these construction mechanics, they're not going away anytime soon. But even if they did in 10, 15, 20 years, you still are going to have a particular set of skills that can be applied to something else. So go out there. I mean, you can even start with just a Google search. Find out what type of trade jobs that you have in your area that you might be interested in doing. And really think about it, really sit down, do some thinking, and then go after it. Go find, if it's a union, go talk to the union, see what kind of trade programs they have. Most of these trade schools will actually pay you while you're learning, getting through that first 6 months to a year of learning just the job. They will pay you while you're technically in school, and then when you graduate and you become an apprentice, then you even make more money off of that. It's not going to be as much, but it's still going to be a paying job. You're going to be productive. You're going to have a trade or a specific set of skills that's going to be useful for your future. Then everything's going to be right with the world. Now, I'm not saying that these trade jobs are for everybody. If you're really, really intelligent and you really think that you can go after the engineering job, or you can become a doctor, or you can do something in mathematics or science or physics or chemistry or something like that, you go out there and you do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but for the average person, you're better off getting your associate's degree or becoming an apprentice in a trade job. That's simply well within your scope. Colleges and universities need to return to the way they once were, where only the very best and brightest get there and get a degree, so that the values of our degrees that we hold will start to rise, and we won't have this student loan problem anymore. It's going to solve a lot of problems, I think, with the productivity of our countries. All in all, I think I can sum it up with: know yourself, know what you're capable of, and be honest with yourself. Know what your strengths and weaknesses are. And if you don't really know what they are, ask somebody. Ask someone you know. Ask a parent, ask a friend, ask a teacher, or a coworker or something like that. Find out what your strengths and weaknesses are. For example, myself, I am not good with math. I hate math, can't do it. When I was younger, I wanted to be an architect or an engineer of some kind. But when it came to the math, I just wasn't that good at it. So I sat down and told myself, hey, you're not good at math. You need to do something else. You need to find something that interests you, that is a good trade skill, or something that's going to provide you for your future that doesn't involve math. And I went out there and I did it. And really, the first step to self-improvement is recognizing your strengths and weakness and being honest with yourself about what your future holds. That's going to wrap things up for this video. Thanks for watching.